Play it hard, play it hard. Anticipation. Off to fish a mark. For the first time I'll be fishing this little rock at this state of tide, and I love that bit, don't you, where you never quite know what to expect. It's a new mark, this. I'm finding that the most important factor when lure fishing for bass isn't the marks, it isn't the lures. It really is the localised conditions in and around boulders, in and around reefs and rocks at a particular state of the tide. The fish sort of switch on at a certain point. So I want to try and get away from, what's the mark? You know, where exactly are you fishing? Because it's not particularly helpful. The most important thing is we understand, I think, the localised conditions and what the bass might be feeding on at a particular state of the tide. And in today's video, we'll try and understand that a little bit more by heading down to the beach, catching some mackerel, because the bass shoals tend to follow those, and seeing what's actually in the water and what's going to turn those bass onto feeding. So getting away a little bit from the exact lure and the exact marks, because we'll all benefit a lot more from just understanding where we fish. You're going to get better gains than, you know, chopping and changing, just trying to find where someone else caught a bass, because certainly with some of the marks I fish, you could fish there for 24 hours and not see a fish, but wait for the wind to change in a particular area, and that's when the fishing will come on. And I think that's what's frustrating a lot of lure anglers out there. It really is about finding the best conditions to fish any of the marks that you choose to fish. So in this video I hope to dispel the myth that it's all about the mark that you fish. It's not. It really is to do with conditions, the tide, and the way the water moves around rocks at a particular state of the tide can really turn the fish on to feeding. What are they feeding on? When are they doing it? Under what conditions is far more important than the mark. So hopefully by the end of this video you can get out, fish those marks you know, and just try and find that best set of conditions and set of bait fish in the water that really make the fishing worthwhile. Old pair of trainers, 2mm neoprene socks, and I've got to work my way across about half a mile of these boulders to get to this mark, and it's all based on a hunch that the last of the bass filter through a gap in the rocks. It would be good to have some of this drone footage as hindsight, wouldn't it? Now, I don't know if you can pick this out. There is what I initially thought was a bass. You see this little rocky outcrop. This is what I'm casting to. You can just see the lure on the right hand side, and it looked like a fish followed it. You see there at the top of the screen? It stops and comes away. I cast over it, has a little look. Obviously I'm retrieving too fast for this fish to notice, but I think that might be a mullet. Just looking at those fins and the plenty of clues as to what's in the water. I think these are gulls that have picked these up, but obviously the fish will be picking up on this sort of thing as well. Fishing into the sun here, so I hope you can see this, but basically we've got a big surface lure on here, and what I'm doing here is playing around with either having the line out of the water, which way we avoid the weed, but when I get to the edge here, you can see those rocks on the left, just let the line settle, that's the braid, settle into that run of the tide, and it just puts that lure on the edge of those rocks, which you wouldn't be able to do with the rod tip up like that. So if I've got the rod tip up like that, it's just going to come in here, which at the moment I don't want it to do. I will in a minute. So I'm working this lure. It's going to go straight out. Try and let this make sense. So now the line is up in the air and it's sort of over in that direction. I'm just going to lift it off, and there's a second reef about 10 foot out from that one on the left. That's it. I just want to work it across there really. Just getting that lure, I want it to fizzing that across the surface to start off with. Now this time, round. Right, now I want that line in the water as soon as possible, and that'll drift it past that spot now. Perfect. Right, because the line's in the water, the lure will sort of follow the arc of that line a little bit, as long as I don't overdo it. Does that make sense? I might have to show you a little, one of my strange drawings, but there we go. Now we're following the line of that reef, fishing it at the end of the reef. No bass, but I did what I wanted it to do. No follows, no follows. Right. Last go on this side, and then I might cast one on the inside. Oh, done it wrong. Snagged. The wind has. Oh shit. Got to bounce it across the rocks now, so I've got to flick it across. Might have to go and get that in a minute. This is why you wear sunglasses, in case it flicks into me. No. Right, so I'm owed one more cast in that area. That wind is starting to pick up. It probably doesn't look like much on the video, but the wind's picking up. I'm missing an eye on this rod. So already, since we've been here, it's totally changed that wind. That's cutting right across. Right, last cast. Let's go straight out and hope it brings round. Oh, no joy here. Well, you see it's a little bit sandy in there, isn't it? That's not a problem for the lures. Bass will see it or hear the lure through that. Pick up on the vibrations through their lateral line. Don't have any problem with that water clarity. Doesn't look quite as nice, but no bass, no bass. Well, it's definitely in there. They're mackerel. So what I've done here, I've seen the mackerel. This is a slightly different venue now, but I saw the mackerel, so I was stuck on a sabiki rig. We caught a few mackerel, and then this happened. Instantly, I knew it wasn't a mackerel on the line. It just felt like a bass, or on these little size 8 sabikis. You know, four little sabikis on there. So I had to play this, what I thought was a bass, really cautiously. Oh, what a beauty! It's an absolutely beautiful bass. That's probably about 4 pounds. Well, I couldn't resist the next day with a few mackerel showing, just to get a few for tea, a few for the bait freezer. Don't tend to go mad on these, but it is an amazing time of the year. I've always got half a mind on the bass as well, because the shoals will sort of swim in and around these mackerel. You can see the amount of whitebait in the water as well. Caught too many with wet hands, you can. If you caught too many with wet hands, you can put them back. So this is what I mean when I talk about the conditions. This is an ebbing tide, and just look at the energy in this water. It could definitely disorientate those bait fish, the mackerel and the things that the bass are chasing. Creates really good ambush points, and this is actually on the ebbing tide, and we're using mackerel type lures here, J11s from Rapala and Megabass Zonk. Lures that sort of replicate an injured mackerel, so you don't have to drive the lure through, but just have it in the water, maybe indicating an injured mackerel. Little pulls, little drags, let it sink if it's the Zonk, or dig it down if it's that J13 or J11 from Rapala, which will dive deeper. But this really gets me going when you see the aerated water like this, and particularly on an ebbing tide at the moment. Far more important than the actual mark, I think. You sort of switch on a bit and tighten up the drag. Go off. Yeah, another one on the Zonk. It was right in close. Tucking the drag. So it was about the same size as the other one, that one here. Just brought it in here. Lost it. Maybe it deserved it. It didn't feel, on the hook, it didn't feel well hooked. No. There's a little ledge in front of me. I think they're just sitting in front of it. Also got a bit of weed to contend with. Right, it's flying out, that zonk, across the wind, and then I'm using that wind to just, there's like a little rock in front of me there, just using that to get the braid out of the way of that rock in front of me. Checking the leader. There's certainly a few fish here. So I want to connect with something a bit bigger would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, now I can feel a bit of weed on that lure. It's a shame because I want that to be working well through there. Oh, it's just been hit. There we go, that's a better fish. Oh, sake. Oh, it felt good. Snapped off. Shit. Play it hard, play it hard. There we are. I've got to get it over this little reef thing here. Here he comes. Lovely. No need for the net here. There's like a nice little way to bring this one in. There it is. Well, that's a hard little fighter, that one, isn't it? Let's put this back. Can definitely feel when the first treble was looped round the knot. I think they're just sat behind here. Might have to just change my angle now that tide's gone out. I'm just slowing it down a little bit. The zonk, this lure sinks. You don't want it to sink too much. Just going to put it in. Oh, it's really hard to get the angle I want. There's basically a couple of rocks there, and they were just sitting through. I think it was a passing shoal. So we had 4 fish, missed 2 really, caught 2. The drag, so it was about the same size as the other one. That one here, just brought it in here. Lost it. Checking the leader. Oh, there he is, just in the surf line there. Look at that. Oh, come on. I bet he's coming to hoover off the... Just in the surf. Come on. Oh, lovely bass. Look at that. What a fish. Lovely. And Zonk does it again. So still got one good catch still to come in the video, but at the end of these now, I just want to run through a few things, issues perhaps we haven't addressed throughout the video. First one being how brilliant these Megabass Zonk are. I mean, it's one hell of a lure. Yes, you're paying a lot more, but the weight in there and the way it distributes that weight on the cast as well. So those big sort of ball bearing things in there enable you to chuck this thing out. It's really, really good. It sort of moves like that through the water. We have got a video coming of different lures underwater, and this will feature strongly, but they're absolutely fantastic, these Zonks. And they're a real, what I'd call a confidence lure, if that makes sense. So as soon as you put it on, I really feel like I'm gonna catch well on it. And I've had 5 fish in July already on this, well over sort of 55-60 centimetre fish. So one thing I wanted to talk about was the trebles on here. The treble hooks on here, there's 3 of them. They're vicious looking things. One snapped off actually on that last session. They hold the fish really well. You're not going to lose a fish on a Zonk. That said, it was the first occasion ever I've had a fish drop off on a Zonk, but that was with the 2 there. Now, so you do have different options with these Zonks. One of them is to debarb them, at the very least take off the barb. Everything you do here though is lessening your chances of hooking and bringing that fish in, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So yeah, consider doing that, because especially once you've had a couple of fish, they're hard to unhook a decent bass, and then like the trailing hook can get the bass in the eye, or it can get it and damage the fish a bit more. So for fish handling, although they're effective and they'll get the fish in, you're not just going to jab at it. That fish is coming in. So I've kept a few bass to eat over the last few days. You know, they fed the family and the guys at work. So I make no apologies for that. But what I could do is use these single hooks. So these are Cox and Rule, what they call inline singles. And on occasion, I'll put single hooks on here. Sometimes I'll debarb them. Sometimes I keep the trebles on. But basically, if you look at you see there, that is the gape of 2 of the sections of treble hook equal to the gape of a single. And I've just found these Cox and Rule ones pretty good. You might want to just sharpen them up a little bit. That's the other option. So yeah, do consider putting singles on here. I'm going to put singles on this one, for example. I do need to buy some more Zonks because I've lost three of them. And another thing you can do, instead of using those split rings, you can actually use braid. There's a knot where you go braid to this, and the idea being that these can twist round a lot without snapping, without maybe losing the fish. Now what I mean by that is if you twist this round, there comes a point where that will stop. So imagine a fish sort of could pop it off, whereas if you're using braid instead of that metal as a loop, it will just keep twisting round, and the fish will keep that keep it in its mouth as the lure twists round. But we will look at that a little bit more in a little bit more detail. So yeah, do consider single hooks. I sort of mix and match a bit with that.